Wait, before you ever say you're beautiful, stop and ask yourself, what would happen if I told her something no one else has noticed? Something deeper, something that speaks to who she is, not just how she looks. Because here's the thing, women hear compliments about their looks all the time. It's the go-to move. You have pretty eyes, you look amazing, you're gorgeous. But those words, as flattering as they might be in the moment, often fade just as quickly as they're said. Why? Because they're expected, they're surface level. They don't tap into the part of a woman that truly craves to be seen. If you really want to stand out, if you want to touch a woman in a way that lingers in her mind long after you've left the room, compliment her mind, compliment how she thinks, compliment her perspective. Tell her how much you admire the way she breaks down a situation or how she sees things others don't. When a man says, "I love the way your mind works," do you know what that does? It unlocks trust. It creates emotional gravity. Because suddenly she's not just a pretty face in your eyes, she's a whole person, and in that moment she feels seen, and that feeling, that's addictive. You see, we live in a world where beauty is everywhere. Filters, makeup, social media highlights, it's all curated. But a woman's mind, her thoughts, her internal world, that's something most people skip right over. And that's why your words, if they're real, can have so much power. Saying something like, "I love how your ideas challenge me," or "You always bring a different angle I never considered," feels rare and refreshing to her. It tells her that you're not just attracted to her, you're curious about her. You respect her inner world, and when you go there, she starts to feel safe unfolding more of herself. She'll lean in, she'll open up, and it won't be because you called her beautiful, but because you made her feel beautiful for who she is inside. Let's be honest, anyone can say, "You look good," but not every man will slow down and say, "That thing you said earlier, it stuck with me. You have a really unique way of thinking." That's the kind of compliment that makes her pause, that softens her defenses, that builds a connection no physical praise ever could. So if you're aiming to really connect, to genuinely capture her attention and earn a space in her thoughts, start seeing her differently. Speak to the part of her that the world constantly overlooks. That's where her heart lives. That's where your words start to matter. Have you ever paused to appreciate someone, not for the big win, not for the final outcome, but for the grind they go through every single day? Think about it. When was the last time you told a woman, "I see how hard you're trying," not because she accomplished something massive, but simply because she keeps showing up day after day, even when no one's clapping? This is one of the most overlooked compliments, and yet it's one of the most powerful. Because we live in a results-driven world, people celebrate the promotion, not the long nights that led to it. They notice the glow-up, not the battles she fought just to stay mentally afloat. And women especially are often carrying silent loads, working hard, fixing things, caring for everyone around them, without ever being told, "I see you." And that's where your words come in. And they don't have to be poetic or complicated. Sometimes all it takes is looking her in the eyes and saying, "I admire your dedication," or "You handle so much, and I just want you to know it doesn't go unnoticed." That kind of recognition, it lands deep. Because now you're speaking to the part of her that's exhausted but never quits. The part of her that doesn't ask for praise but silently hopes someone sees. Complimenting her effort tells her you value the process over the prize. You're not just here when everything's polished and pretty. You respect the messy, the in-between, the real. And trust me, when a woman feels emotionally seen in that way, you earn a level of trust and connection that no shallow flattery could ever buy. What makes this even more powerful is that it builds emotional safety. She knows she doesn't have to constantly impress you with perfection. She doesn't have to always have it all together, because you're someone who sees the strength it takes just to keep going, the effort to keep loving, the energy it takes to stay kind when life gets hard. And here's the thing, those compliments don't just make her feel appreciated, they inspire her, they fuel her. When a woman hears, "I love the way you never give up," it reminds her of who she is, it reinforces her strength, and it connects her to you on a level that goes far beyond admiration. It builds deep respect, even love. So don't wait for the big moment, the perfect outcome, or the spotlight. Compliment her when she's in the trenches, when she's doubting herself, when no one else is clapping. That's when your words matter most. That's when they echo stop right now and think, when you last complimented a woman, did you speak to her vibe, or did you only talk about her outfit, her body, or how she looked in that moment? Because here's a truth most people miss. What captivates a woman isn't always what you say, it's how you see her. And nothing hits deeper than someone recognizing and appreciating her energy. The energy she carries when she walks into a room, the lightness, the calm, the passion, the mystery, the fire she brings without even trying. When you tell a woman, there's something about your energy that's just so comforting, or I feel more alive around you, you're not just giving her a compliment. You're speaking directly to her presence. That unspoken, invisible frequency that most people overlook, and the power in that kind of recognition, it's unmatched. Because now you're no longer responding to something physical or temporary, you're tapping into the essence of who she is when all the noise is stripped away. Think about it. We all walk around carrying energy. Some people enter a room and bring tension, others bring laughter. Some people soothe without saying a word. That's not about looks. That's about soul. And when you tell a woman that her presence shifts the atmosphere in a beautiful way, she hears that you're seeing the part of her that doesn't even try. It just is. This kind of compliment builds emotional connection fast because it's rare. It makes her pause. Most people say you smell good or you look cute. But when someone says, I feel calm when I'm around you, it hits somewhere else. It's no longer about how she presented herself. It's about how she makes you feel. And that's what makes her feel magnetic. And the best part is, it's not something you fake. You don't have to rehearse or sound poetic. You just have to be present. Watch how she interacts. Notice how she responds when people are stressed. Feel the shift in the air when she enters a space. If it moves you, tell her. That moment of honesty can be more impactful than a dozen compliments about her hair or her dress. What you're really doing is telling her, you affect me in ways you don't even realize. And that's the kind of message that stays with her. Because deep down, every woman wants to know that she's more than her appearance, that her spirit has weight, that her vibe is unforgettable. So the next time you're drawn to a woman, don't just focus on her physical beauty. Tune into her energy, feel her presence, and if it moves you, say so. That's how you make her feel seen on a level most never reach. Have you ever looked at a woman and realized there are tiny, beautiful things she does that no one ever acknowledges, so she starts to believe they don't matter? And yet, those are the very things that define her. The way she tucks her hair behind her ear when she's thinking, how she always remembers to check in on someone who's quiet, the small way her eyes light up when she talks about something she loves. These aren't just habits, they're the hidden layers of her being. And when you notice them, when you compliment them, you make her feel truly seen. You see, most people notice what's loud, what's obvious, the dress she's wearing, her makeup, her curves. But women already know those things draw attention. They've been told since they were little girls. So when a man steps in and says something like, I noticed how gently you handled that situation earlier, or you have this calming way of making people feel like they matter, that's when everything shifts. Suddenly, she doesn't feel like just another woman being complimented. She feels like her, unique, singular, irreplaceable. What happens next is powerful. She softens, not because you flattered her, but because you saw her. And we all crave that, to be seen, not just when we're performing, but when we're simply being. When a woman feels recognized for things she didn't even think were visible, it creates a kind of intimacy that feels effortless, because now she doesn't have to try to impress you, she can just be. That's rare, and she knows it. It's the unexpected compliments that carry the most emotional weight. Telling her you love how she always says please and thank you to waiters, how she takes her time to reply thoughtfully, how she cares even when no one is watching, those are the compliments that wrap around her heart and stay there, because it means you're paying attention in a world where most people don't. And it's not about exaggeration or making her feel like she's on a pedestal. It's about truth. about catching the quiet beauty in the things she didn't think anyone noticed. It's about saying, that little thing you did, it mattered. It made an impression. I saw you. And maybe that's what connection really is, seeing what others miss, recognizing the small, consistent acts of kindness, strength, or warmth that live just beneath the surface. When you compliment those things, you're not just making her smile for a moment, you're building a bond rooted in awareness, in attention, in presence. So slow down, watch closely, speak up when something small moves you. Because sometimes it's the quietest parts of a woman that are the loudest signs of who she really is. And when you notice those, she'll never forget that you did. Let me ask you something that might make you pause. When was the last time you told a woman, you are one of one? Not in a cliche, overused kind of way. I mean, really looked her in the eye and made her feel like she's unlike anyone you've ever met. Because here's what most people don't realize. So many women walk around shrinking themselves to fit in, constantly adjusting to be more likable, more acceptable, more normal. And yet the most magnetic compliment you can give is the one that celebrates her authenticity, who she is when no one's watching. Telling a woman she's unique is more than flattery, it's validation. It's you saying, I see the way you move differently, I admire that. Maybe she's the kind of person who doesn't follow the crowd, who isn't afraid to speak up even if her voice shakes. Maybe her style is bold, her sense of humor sharp, or her worldview complex and beautifully her own. When you reflect that back to her, it's a powerful moment. Because most people don't reward difference, they avoid it. And this is where so many men get it wrong. They chase what looks good, what's popular, what everyone else is chasing. But the man who slows down and says, you're not like anyone I've ever met, and means it, that's the man who stands out, because that's the man who gives her the freedom to be fully herself. It's not about putting her on a pedestal, it's about recognizing that she's not trying to copy-paste someone else's personality. She's not trying to be liked by everyone. She's choosing to be true to herself, and that takes courage. A woman like that doesn't need constant praise, but she will remember forever the person who honored her individuality. And when you become that person, your words do more than impress, they anchor deep. But here's the catch. This kind of compliment only works when it's real. You can't fake it. You have to actually see her, not just the image, not the curated version she puts online, but the real, unfiltered her. Her opinions, her quirks, the way she thinks, the things she believes in, even if they're not trendy. And when you reflect that back to her with genuine admiration, it builds a foundation, not just of attraction, but of connection. She starts to feel safe in her skin with you. She stops performing. She leans into the conversation, into the silence, into the parts of herself she used to hide. Because now you've shown her that she doesn't have to be like anyone else to be valuable. She just has to be her. And once she feels that, your words won't just echo in her ears, they live in her heart. Let me stop you right here, because this is where most people mess it up. It's not just what you say to her that matters, it's when and how you say it. You could have the most beautiful compliment in the world, but if it's dropped in casually like an afterthought, it loses all its power. On the other hand, even a simple, thoughtful comment, if delivered at the right moment, with presence and sincerity, can create a memory she holds on to forever. That's the magic of time-sensitive personal compliments. They're rooted in something real, something happening in the now. It's one thing to tell a woman, you're sweet. It's another to say, the way you just comforted your friend back there, that was beautiful to watch. You have such a warm heart. Can you feel the difference? One is vague and forgettable. The other is anchored in a real moment. It makes her pause because you were paying attention, and trust me, nothing is sexier than attention that's present. It's the moments when she doesn't even know she's being observed that make the most powerful impact. Maybe it's how she quietly fixed someone's collar, or how she defended someone who wasn't in the room, or even how she sat silently, thinking deeply before speaking. When you point that out with genuine admiration, you're showing her something rare, awareness. You didn't just hear her, you felt her, and that means more than any recycled line ever could. And it's not about being smooth or calculated, it's about being authentic in your timing. A well-timed compliment is a form of emotional intelligence. It tells her you're engaged, you're present, and you're not just saying things to fill space. You're connecting a feeling to a moment. And that's what makes it last. When you say something like, "I love how passionate you got just now when you talked about your dream," that moment becomes a timestamp in her memory. It's no longer just a conversation, it's a connection. The beauty is, this doesn't require grand gestures. You don't have to wait for a big scene or dramatic opportunity. These moments happen all the time. While she's laughing, explaining, helping someone, or even just listening, all you have to do is notice them and speak to them. Because here's the truth. When a woman hears a compliment that's rooted in real time, it feels real. It doesn't feel rehearsed. It doesn't feel like something you'd say to anyone else. It feels like something you said because of who she is in that moment, and that is exactly why she won't forget it. Because when your words are wrapped in presence, they become unforgettable.